Got a question for you, Dougie, since you was in the Army and all. Are Army generals dopes and babies? Because that's what your orange buffoon says they are. Imagine that, being a general in the Army and getting told you're a dope and a baby. What about that, Dougie? You think maybe you could explain to your clown posse what it takes for a man or woman to attain the rank of general in the U.S. Army? First requirement is about 30 years service, where you've had to rise through the ranks, Dougie. Rise through the ranks, and as you go higher, you're in charge of more and more men, more and more soldiers, more and more equipment. So you attain the rank of admiral in the Army, Dougie. Does that make you a dope? Does that make you a baby, Dougie? Is that your opinion of the officer corps of the United States Army, Dougie? I sure don't understand you, Dougie, because your orange buffoon, he don't like the military. He thinks they're dopes and babies. Are you a dope and a baby, Dougie? You remember when old Trump said he always felt like he was in the military because he went to a military-themed prep school for 16-year-olds? And he tells us that he had a tougher time in his prep school than you did on active duty, Dougie. Is that right, Dougie? Is that how they do it in the Army? Did you find any tough times when you were serving, Dougie, that doesn't come up to a military-themed prep school? Is that what service in the Army is, Dougie? Is it? Because you're sure defending somebody that says, yeah, it is. Yeah, you defend him at all costs, don't you, Dougie? You remember when your orange buffoon said that he always wanted a Purple Heart? So some old guy handed him one on stage. Who in the hell wants a Purple Heart, Dougie? That's one medal you really don't want to get. I got a friend that joined the Army, got blown up in an IED in Iraq. His ears ring all the time. He has to wear hearing aids. My friend Glenn would give up that Purple Heart of his to have his hearing back. And your orange buffoon said serving in the Army is for dopes and babies. Is that what you were when you served, Dougie? A dope and a baby? Is it, Dougie? I want you to look up a name. Soldier that killed in line of duty, killed in action, name of David Johnson. So after he got killed, your orange buffoon called his pregnant widow and couldn't even get the man's name right. Why is that, Dougie? Why do you defend somebody like that? Of course, when he got called out on it, he said, well, Obama never called any of the soldiers or Marines or sailors or airmen that got killed. When asked for the evidence to back that up, well, of course, he ain't got it. He ain't got it, Dougie, because he's lying. And you lie for him, Dougie. You remember when he was mocking John McCain, a man who spent 5 years in the Hanoi Hilton? Did you know, Dougie, that North Vietnamese told John McCain that they was going to let him go? And he said, no, these other guys have been here longer. Let them go first. That's called being a man, Dougie. And your orange buffoon says, I like people that weren't captured. I'm sure John McCain liked people that didn't take 5 deferments for bone spurs. So he always wanted a Purple Heart, huh, Dougie? By gosh, we gave him 5 chances to go get him one. And he turned it down every single time. And that's who you defend, Dougie? With your Army background? Your advocacy for veterans, that's who you defend? Why is that, Dougie? Why is that? Why can't you step up to the plate and tell your clown posse that Trump had 5 chances to go get his own Purple Heart, but he turned it down, every one of them. Every one of them, Dougie, he turned down. Why is that, Dougie? Why are you defending that? If a Democrat had come out and said something like Trump did, that Army generals are nothing but dopes and babies, your freaking head would explode, Dougie. Wouldn't it? Your head would explode. But since it's your Trump, it's fine, isn't it, Dougie? He can denigrate every veteran because he had a tougher time as a 16-year-old in a military-themed prep school than you ever did serving on active duty in the Army, Dougie. That's what he's telling you. How come that don't sink into that thick skull, Dougie? Why is that, Dougie? Did you see where Trump said that his personal Vietnam was avoiding venereal disease? Avoiding venereal disease was his personal Vietnam. And he tells John McCain, I like people who weren't captured. Why is that, Dougie? Why can't you tell the truth, Dougie, that your orange buffoon hero is a coward? But he thinks he's the toughest guy around, don't he, Dougie? And you think he is too. That happens, Dougie, when you're surrounded by bodyguards your whole life. You get thinking, damn, I'm tough. Nobody ever messes with me. How about that, Dougie? How about that, Dougie? You call yourself a patriot, and yet you cheer on Orange Buffoon Trump as he calls Army generals dopes and babies. Patriot my ass, Dougie Ducote. Patriot my ass.